We got some science coming at you next. Anybody ready? I'm thrilled to introduce our next speaker, Dr. Todd Ringler. Todd found his way into science through aerospace engineering. He did his graduate work in the role of mountain ranges, like the Rockies, in controlling the climate of the atmosphere. And over the last decade, he's been pioneering a new approach in climate modeling that bridges from the global climate change to regional climate impacts. He focuses on predicting the likelihood of rapid sea level rise and its impacts on coastal communities. And having him here with us today on Earth Day could not be more timely. Dr. Todd Ringler.
Wow. Never in my wildest dreams. So just in case anyone's wondering, everything I say today is my own words. I'm going to talk to you today a bit about science in the service of society. So when I got into climate change 25 years ago, I didn't think too much about the consequences of burning fossil fuels. I got into climate modeling because I love science. I was fascinated with the fluid dynamics of the atmosphere and ocean. But before that, in middle school, I had a love for rocketry. And then in college, in aerospace engineering, for fighter jets. And then I got into atmosphere and ocean. Now, of course, thanks. You bring a scientist up after a bunch of accomplished politicians, you have to reset your expectations. But across the full 50 years, one thing has never changed. As I learn and understand more about the natural world, I'm in awe of its beauty and complexity. And it's that beauty and complexity that is this fueled this seemingly bottomless curiosity for how the atmosphere and ocean move around the Earth. And for that, I'm grateful. But through the years, I came to realize that it was more than me fulfilling my own ambitions and fascinations to study the Earth. I came to realize that science was more than individuals fulfilling their passion to learn about some part of the world that's special to them. I came to see science as a service to society. We figure stuff out. We find solutions to hard problems. We make discoveries. And often we hit on something that's profoundly important to the world we live in, like climate change. As climate scientists, our job is to provide to the best of our ability a clear description of how the Earth will change with increasing concentrations of greenhouse gases. Now, I kind of thought we had an understanding between climate scientists and policymakers. We study the problem, we build the theories, we gather observations, we produce projections, we do what scientists do. Then the policymakers, our politicians, would act on this information to craft legislation in the best interest of all of us. Scientists and politicians working hand in hand, each serving society in their own way. So I would say as climate scientists, we're holding up our end of the bargain. We've been accumulating evidence for global warming for the past 150 years. Yes, 150 years. The theory underpinning climate change has been verified countless times through laboratory measurements, through observations of the atmosphere and ocean and ice systems, and through modeling simulations. It might be that climate change is the most interrogated theory in the history of science. So I have to look at the policymakers and ask, what are we waiting for? The scientific evidence is unequivocal and compelling. We need to do something. We need to start today. And in fact, we needed to start decades ago. And we need to be ready to do even more in the decades to come. The consequences of getting this wrong are irreversible. We have one planet. We only have one chance to get this right. You know, all of our public debate and re-litigation of the settled science of climate change comes at a real cost. It's keeping us from talking about the issues that we actually need to debate in the public square. Like, what aspects of climate change don't we fully understand? What are the risks, the environmental, the economic, the national security risks that accompany the aspects of climate change that we can't yet fully predict? Just because we understand the basic physics understanding climate change doesn't mean that we understand everything about climate change. Yes, we understand far more than what we need to take action, but we don't understand all the consequences. And to be blunt, that should worry all of us. We don't and likely never will unravel all the mysteries. And from a scientific point of view, this is what can be so addictive. As scientists, we can be confident in our understanding of how the Earth will change when we increase the concentrations of greenhouse gases, but still be humble and in fact be excited in knowing that we don't comprehend all the consequences. Look, the list of what we don't know about climate change is long and important. Will the waters that are warming around the Southern Ocean reach Antarctica and melt ice to produce sea level rises far above our current high-end estimates? Will the number and intensity of hurricanes in the tropical Atlantic change with the warming ocean? What will happen to all the carbon trapped in the Arctic permafrost as it melts? And closer to home, will there be enough water in the Southwest to sustain us? These are profound questions whose answers will determine the course of our history. You know, the decisions we make today, the carbon we emit today, will have consequences today and for generations into the future. When we think about the choices we make today, we need to know it's not just about us. It's not just about today, but it's about our children and their children and their children. No, the climate scientists will continue to serve you, to serve society, to serve our government, to understand how the Earth will change with increasing fossil fuel. But it's up to all of us. It's up to each and every one of us to determine how we're going to act on this knowledge. So, what can each of us do today? Actually, it's pretty simple. If you're still in school, consider science and engineering as a career. We need all the help we can get. And for all of us, engage, get involved, just like you're doing today on Earth Day. Continue to participate. Get to know your elected officials across the city, the state, the federal government. Set up a meeting with them. And when you sit down with them, look them square in the eye, then ask them politely but sternly, so what are we waiting for? Thank you.
Let's give Dr. Ringler one more round of applause.